Tech here, and I know I've mentioned in my previous video that it was going to be the last one of the year, but this one is different. This one's actually a special video. If you seen, or you may see now, I reached 100 subscribers. I'm just a little bit over 100 subscribers. And it may not seem like a big milestone, but to me it is. It shows me that there are people who are watching, who are subscribing. So it feels good to have reached over 100 subscribers. And for that, I wanted to do a special video today, which is the 100 subscriber special. And it's me listing my top 10 pieces of tech that came out this year. And it's going to be a bit of a longer one, so hopefully you stick through it and stick through the end. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm going to start this list with a honorable mention, and that is the Boston Dynamics robot dog. Now, if you don't know, it's basically a really big, expensive robotic dog that was created by a company called Boston Dynamics. And I've only seen kind of like the bigger YouTube channels talking about this. I've only seen 2 videos so far from these YouTubers, one from Unbox Therapy and one from MKBHD. So it's clear that this is a product that I don't even think is available to the consumer yet, and I don't even think that when it becomes available to the consumer, I can't really see many people buying it, because I can imagine, based on what this thing can do, it's going to be way overpriced. It's going to cost so much money. And I don't know if this is the company's idea of creating an alternative to having a pet, or if it's the first step in creating the Terminators. I don't know. But this thing is pretty cool for what it can do. It's very aware of its surrounding. It has all these sensors and cameras, so it knows the terrain. It knows how to change the way it walks based on the terrain. It knows how to get around obstacles. And of course, there is a controller for you to use to help control it as well. So it's just an honorable mention to throw in there. Something really cool that came out. So I don't know what their plans are in the future for this thing. Just something really cool. So starting off the official list at number 10, we have the new AirPods Max. I should also say that a lot of things on this list is Apple related. That's just because Apple just released a lot of stuff this year. And some of the stuff I do own and use on myself, and some of it I haven't owned, or I use previous models of it. So just keep that in mind. But number 10 on this list is the AirPods Max. Here's why it's so low on the list. Me personally, I don't like the design. I think it's ugly. I think it's overpriced. I think that it doesn't have enough new unique specs to justify that price tag, as well as justifying a reason to buy these headphones over the other AirPods or even another brand headphones. So far, the only thing really unique to this headset is the crown that it uses, kind of like the Apple Watches has that crown, how you change some of the settings, volume, and stuff like that. And I guess, being able to adjust the size a unique way. But there really isn't nothing special about these headphones. I even heard some YouTubers talk about how most devices, if they're not being used at the moment, they go into a low power mode. I hear the AirPods Max takes like a couple hours before it gets into low power mode. I don't really know the whole thing about that. Just me personally, I think that while the AirPods Max may sound impressive, to me, there's a lot more that goes into buying a headset than just the sound. It also goes into the design, the comfort, the usability. Is the price tag for this item worth what it can do and what it offers? So the AirPods Max for me just made it as top 10 of things released because it was a big thing that came out, but it's not as amazing as I think it could be. Number 9 is the Galaxy Tab S7 and the S7 Plus. Again, I've used a Galaxy Tablet S6 before. The problem with the Galaxy tablets in particular is that Android tablets don't really offer much compared to an Apple iPad. When it comes to tablets, the iPad, it dominates the tablet game. And even with this Tab S7, there is some improvements they made, such as the improvement to the S Pen. It's more responsive. It's not as laggy or buggy. But the S Pen just still doesn't feel as good as the Apple Pencil would. It also doesn't really have all the good features that a tablet should have. You want a video edit on a tablet. The tablet from Galaxy don't really have the specs to not only get it done flawlessly, but it also doesn't offer any free editing software, whereas Apple has iMovie. The Tab S7 is also kind of shown to be a device for gaming with Xbox Cloud Gaming, which is fine and all. But there are other devices you can do cloud gaming on anyway. And it also comes down to who really wants to do cloud gaming in this time. There are still people who are still getting used to the digital only thing. I don't think we're ready for cloud gaming yet. And I think that while the Tablet 7 is a new device that was trying to take some steps forward from the previous model Galaxy tablets, it still just isn't what is popping out there, so to speak. You know, Android tablets don't really do it for the tablet game. I personally think Android tablets were more meant for kids who parents don't want to buy an expensive iPad for them, so they want to get them an Android tablet. Does the same basic stuff, YouTube, and maybe there's a little bit of games here and there. And some Android tablets for kids do have that protective case that comes with it for these kids. So sorry Galaxy, sorry Android tablets, but you made it to the list, but you just wasn't high enough. So number 8 is the Pixel 5. This one hurts me a bit because I'm a Pixel user. I've been using Pixel since the Pixel 2. I love the Pixel phones. I wanted to get a Pixel 5, but I didn't really have the money or the upgrade option to get one. And my problem with the Pixel 5 itself is that it didn't really add anything new to the Pixel to make it worth buying. What they really did was they put back the fingerprint reader, which was genius. I appreciate that, especially now that we're in a pandemic and you have to take your mask off to unlock your phones. Putting the fingerprint reader back is an amazing idea. It shouldn't have been gone in the first place anyway. So they put that back. But that's pretty much it. All the other specs were pretty much mostly the same. The camera specs were mostly the same. Maybe they added a couple new camera features. But I think they did it to help keep the cost down because the Pixel 5 really wasn't that expensive compared to previous models. I think it was almost half the cost of previous models. And I'm guessing they did this as a way to help those who want to get a new phone get one without fully breaking the bank. But I think for a new model, a new flagship model like a Pixel 5, there should be more added to the features and the specs so that it is worth buying, the newer model. So there really isn't much to say about the Pixel 5. It came in two colors. The sage one is kind of ugly. The black one is the only one I would go with. And like I said, the camera specs aren't really that much different from the Pixel 4. So it really is hard to recommend the Pixel 5 compared to other phones that came out this year. But like I said, number 8 is the Pixel 5, and it was a little disappointing for me to find out the stuff about it, but let's move on. Number 7 is a gaming laptop called the Asus Zephyrus Duo, I believe it's called. Now, I didn't really find any trailers or anything for this laptop. I only heard about it from MKBHD, and it's basically a dual screen gaming laptop, and it has the main touchscreen, then it has a little touchscreen on top of the keyboard, and I think it's pretty cool. It is meant for those who are trying to be productive, who are trying to use artwork and everything. It's also for someone like me who just likes to be fancy and show off some fancy stuff, shiny stuff, whatever. But it is a pretty decent gaming laptop for what it offers. If I look here on my notes, what it does offer is 15.6-inch 4K display, an Intel i9 processor, the touchscreen as I mentioned, and it has a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Super, and a 32GB DDR4, and I believe it has 2TB hard drive. So it's a lot of good specs here, and of course, the price tag does reflect the specs that it has. And I think for gaming laptops, there are a lot of options out there. Some are cheaper than others, and some that are cheaper do seem to get the basic jobs done. But this is something that was, really interesting to me. Seeing a laptop with two screens, both touchscreen, and just all the specs that it comes with it. So that was pretty interesting to find out that this thing exists. I personally wanted to get one, but I just couldn't afford one. So hopefully there are people out there who did get one and who enjoy using it. Now, number 6. This is going to be the iPhone 12. Now, I haven't used an iPhone since the iPhone 5. I'm not really Apple's biggest supporter. Granted, I do have two Apple devices that I use, at the moment. But I've never really been much of an iPhone user once I got into Android. But the iPhone 12 did have some things that I found amazing. But the reason why it's not in the top 5 is because of a specific other thing that I will get into. So with what it offers now that is amazing, number 1 is the different the color options you get. I think more phones need to follow this and have more color options available because there are those who like to accessorize and they like to have a certain color device for what they believe matches their personality. So I do appreciate the fact that there is multiple colors to choose from. I also appreciate the fact that there's multiple models to choose from. The Mini, the Standard, the Max, the Pro. There's, quite a few options for the iPhone 12. And with that, it goes into whether you want a smaller phone or a bigger phone, whether you want one that's more affordable, whether you want to get the full expensive every feature and everything available. So I appreciate that they were doing that to give you multiple options, especially in a time of the pandemic where a lot of people have been limited in what they can get during this year. So I appreciate that Apple is saying, look, we have all these options and colors available, and you can grab them. Even the most high end model of the iPhone 12 has like cinematic level filming. It has the new very durable and unbreakable display. Of course, it's still breakable, but it's supposed to be really, really durable. It also has let's see, water resistance. That's one thing. Some phones are losing that feature. Some phones are getting it. So it's water resistant. It has the new Apple A14 Bionic chip, which is supposed to be, the fastest mobile chip out there. It has the Super Retina display. So it has all these great things for the iPhone 12. The reason why I didn't make top 5 is because of the MagSafe accessories. And also the fact that the phone doesn't come with a power brick for your cable. You get the phone and you get the cable to charge it, but you don't get the wall adapter to charge it. Their reasoning is because they're going green and they don't want to have any waste in their packaging to improve the environment. I think it's kind of taking steps in the wrong direction, because I understand the going green thing, but you're also going to upset consumers, because not only are you trying to say that they may have a power brick from their previous models. This is the first power brick that doesn't have the standard USB-A to go into the brick. This one has a different port, so they still got to buy a new port anyway. And that's where they brought in the MagSafe accessories. It's magnetic accessories for your phone. There's the wireless charger that's a magnet. There's the wallet magnet. I'm not sure what other accessories they're planning to bring out for the MagSafe, but it's another overpriced thing that you're causing these consumers to buy, because they have to buy something to charge their phone and their devices. And another thing about the iPhone is that there has been talks that maybe they can see Apple completely removing all ports from the phone, no charge port, no headphone port, as we already have. And if that happens, we need them to include the wireless MagSafe attachment in the box for the next iPhone if they remove the port completely. So the MagSafe stuff and the no charge in the box really kept the iPhone 12 from being in the top 5, but it made it to number 6. That's still a pretty good spot. Now, top 5. If you made it this far, leave a like and a comment below. Let's go into top 5. This is going to piss some people off, but number 5 is the Xbox Series S and X. We're going to mainly focus on the Series X for this one. The reason why I made top 5 is because, or number 5 of the top 5, is because, yes, it's the new next-gen console. Yes, it does have the 4K gaming and, the high refresh rate, frames per second, whatever. But it didn't really do anything else new for the gaming industry in terms of next-gen consoles. The controller is mostly the same, with the exception of now having a USB-C port and a different D-pad. I haven't seen anyone really talk about how they feel about that D-pad. I personally don't like it. I need my D-pad for fighting games. I can't play fighting games with an analog stick. I can't play Tony Hawk with the analog stick. And this D-pad just looked funny to me. I don't think it's very functional. It looks like they're trying to improve on the 360 D-pad, which was god-awful. If you think the 360 D-pad was good, you're lying to yourself. It was a terrible D-pad. Even Microsoft acknowledged that it was terrible because they went with a standard D-pad for the Xbox One. They should have kept the standard one for the Series X. They went with this for whatever reason. And other than that, there's really no launch exclusives for the Xbox at all. The next exclusive for the Xbox is supposed to be Halo, and that's not coming out till sometime next year. The new Forza is not coming out till next year. And all of those games coming out, Halo and Forza and maybe a new Gears of War, they're most likely going to be available on the regular Xbox One series of consoles anyway. Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X. It's going to be on there anyway. Sure, you'll get the higher specs and everything with the newer model consoles, but no exclusives released and nothing new with the controller or anything else going on differently. I can't really put this higher than it is already. And while it is making sales records, of course, it's just not making as many sales records as the PlayStation, which we'll get into that later on. So number 5 is the Xbox. Number 4 is the iPad Air. Now, this kind of came out of nowhere, and it also has the new idea of multiple color options, and it is compatible with the Apple Pencil too. It's compatible with the Magic Keyboard from the iPad Pros. So this is another cool device because it is an upgraded iPad that you can choose from that is also a bit cheaper in price, but can do more in terms of the specs. It's faster, it's smarter. It has new new technology in it. It has the new Apple chip. I believe it's using the same chip as the new iPhones. So that goes to show you how powerful the iPhones are and the iPad is. Apple likes to use their special chips that they make to show the power of their devices. There really isn't much to say else about the iPad other than it is a tablet and it is dominating the tablet game because Apple dominates the tablet game. And this iPad, while it isn't as big as the iPad Pros, it is just as powerful, if not even a bit more powerful. And I believe it is a bit cheaper than the iPad Pro, and it has all those nice colors to choose from. And of course, with iPad, you can use iMovie, GarageBand. You can use any other kind of photo editing software, video editing software, and everything else. YouTube, gaming, email. And if you have the accessories, whether you have the actual Apple branded accessories like the keyboards and the mouses, or you have off brand, it's basically having a computer experience without needing a computer. So number 4 was the iPad Air. Number 3, I have this one myself. Number 3 for me is the Mac Mini, the 2020 version, obviously. And the reason why I enjoy using this thing is because, one, it's not that expensive. It's only going to cost you about $699 roughly, which is cheap considering the price of regular Macs and most MacBooks out there. And I was comparing this to the cheapest MacBook model out there, and I believe the MacBook did cost a bit more, by like another $100 more, but it also wasn't as powerful as the Mac Mini. Now the Mac Mini does have the new Apple M1 chip. It has different options you could choose from. You can go with the Apple chip. You can go with the Intel processors. You can go with different size of hard drive. And you can, of course, attach all your other accessories to it. USB hard drives. You can attach USB hubs. You can connect microphones and cameras and webcams and a lot of stuff. It's a computer, basically. And it's one that's a huge size difference compared to other towers out there. And it may not be as powerful as other tower options out there, but it's just as powerful enough to get the job done. It also does have about 6 times faster for graphics, so your gaming won't be as laggy. Your gaming won't be as, loading the frame rate so slowly. And there's just a lot of other things that you can do with this desktop, and you don't really have to sacrifice a lot of desk space for it. And with that price, you can't really beat it. Now, if you can't afford a bigger and stronger computer, by all means. But if you're on a certain budget and you want the cheapest model that can get the job done, then I go with the Mac Mini. Now, of course, because it is just a desktop, you still need a monitor, you still need a keyboard, you still need a mouse. I personally already had an Apple mouse, and I just went and got an Apple keyboard. But you can go with any other option you want. You can even get a regular USB keyboard or something. But for this device and for the price, not a bad choice. Number 2 is the GoPro Hero 9 Black. Now, this is going to be a quick one. I use GoPro for all my recordings, if you didn't know. I'm using one right now, actually. The Hero 9, actually, I'm using. And while I do think that it's kind of difficult to recommend the GoPro, being that you need to buy certain accessories to get the full experience, you can't use a microphone without the media mod, which is an extra $80. You can't have real good lighting in a small package without paying an extra $50 for the light mod. If you want to get a different lens, you got to pay another like $100 for the lens. But what's good about the GoPro? Well, for the price you're paying, you're getting a waterproof 4K camera in the Hero 9 case, a waterproof 5K camera. That's right, the Hero 9 is 5K, and it has a whole bunch of other features. It has time warp and time lapse both in the 3.0. You have a 20 megapixel camera, which most cameras and phones, they go about 8 to 12 megapixels. 20 megapixel camera, that's impressive. You're getting 30% more battery on this model compared to previous GoPro models. And it shows with the battery being bigger. So it is kind of crappy that your previous batteries from the previous models won't work with this device. But that's okay, considering that you're going to want to buy the extra battery and use it for that extra battery time, because it'll last a bit longer than the standard batteries from the previous models. And again, it's waterproof up to about 33 feet. And then if you want to go further than that, you just have to get a special case for it. But that's impressive. And they did bring back the removable lens. The Hero 8 didn't have a removable lens, so if you cracked it, you had to send it in to fix. This one, if you crack the lens, buy another one, swap it out. Or if you're going to buy the $100 Max Lens mod, then you put that on. That's another story for another day. I don't have one myself. I'm not sure if I am going to get one. But if I do get one, I'll review it for you guys and talk about it. But yeah, number 2 on my list was the Hero 9, and I believe at the time of release it only cost about $450, and it's not bad for the camera, but there have been a lot of sales for it. You can get it for about 3 something, or you can even go to like Flex Shopper and get a bundle for low weekly payments or whatever. And I'm sure there's gonna be more sales out there for the GoPro. So not bad for this camera, not bad at all. Um, so I also want to end it by saying that with the GoPro 9, you can your options for filming are 5K, 30 frames per second, 4K, I believe up to 60 frames per second, and everything before that. So that's what I'm gonna say about the GoPro Hero 9. I love it. I use it all the time. Number one. Now, the number one tech for this year is the PlayStation 5, and there's a lot of reasons why. Number one, it sold so many. It's sold out so quickly. I believe what it took to sell in one day took the PS4 one week to sell, I believe, which is pretty impressive. And another reason why this is number one on the list and why it's higher than the Xbox, not because I'm a fanboy of Sony, not because I'm trying to be biased, but the fact that they actually did things that were new and different for this model. The controller was completely redesigned. It was bigger. It had new features. It had the DualSense. It was called the DualSense because it helps you have the feeling of what you're doing in the game. It has the adaptive triggers. They say that if you're playing a game and your character's gun gets jammed, your trigger will get jammed, and you have that feeling. If you're changing terrain from concrete to grass or something, you will feel that in the controller, and that's really impressive. As for the console itself, it has changeable faceplates. Of course, that's assuming Sony's going to actually release the faceplates that you can buy, since they canceled all the other third-party companies trying to do their own faceplates. And it has other features within the interface itself. You can record a video of a certain thing that people are trying to figure out in the game, and you can share it so everyone can see how to solve that one puzzle or trying to find that one item that they can't find. There's a lot of other stuff in this package for why the PS5 is such a great console for this year. And of course, they also had the exclusives that did release as launch titles. You had Miles Morales, which of course did release on the PS4 as well, but it is a launch title for the PS5. You have the Sackboy game, or Little Big Planet game, whatever they're calling it. You have Demon Souls, and you have Bugsnax. And they actually do have more exclusives coming out within the beginning of next year. You have Ratchet and Clank coming out beginning of next year, I believe. There's another game, I can't remember what it's called, some car combat game coming out beginning of next year. They just announced God of War Ragnarok is going to be coming out on the PS5, hopefully within the next year or two. You got the Horizon sequel coming out. So the reason why this console did beat out the Xbox for this list is because it did add a lot of new things to it. It did have first-party games releasing at launch, and it did show in the sales numbers of how quickly this thing sold compared to the Xbox. Even on Black Friday, when they're releasing consoles for different stores, the PS5 was only getting like 2 or 3 units per store, while the Xbox is getting about 8 units per store, 8 to 10 units per store. And not only that, but every time they did a release for the PS5, whether it's Walmart doing another release, Best Buy doing another release, the PS5 was just quickly being sold out by bots and other people who were able to get one. And there hasn't really been much talk, from what I've seen, in terms of how well the Xbox is doing, whereas the PS5 has just been breaking all the news, breaking records, breaking sales records. So while it is a bit of controversy with Sony and Microsoft not mass producing their consoles, as far as we know, it does show that the PS5 did have a better sales record than the Xbox. And now, if I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong and you can prove it, let me know in the comments. But if you agree with me, let me know in the comments that you agree, and give me a like if you do. But that's my top 10 tech for this year. It was a long one. It was a hard one to get through. And I want to end this video with a quick message to you guys who have subscribed and helped me reach 100 subscribers. I appreciate it so much, and I hope that my subscriber count will continue to grow as we go into the next year. And really, hopefully this channel can be bigger and better and have more unboxings and more reviews for you guys. So here's to 2021. Hopefully it's going to be a better year, and hopefully you guys continue to keep watching and supporting. And please share this channel with your family and friends and everyone else you know. Help get the subscriber count even higher. We can do it. I'm Untitled Tech. I hope you enjoyed this long video, and I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list. I'll see you guys in the new year. Bye.